You have been fed candy-coated lies your whole life, and that's okay because so have I. But the only way to change and grow is to get some harsh truths and tough love, the same way that Jay gave that to me. Because when you get those harsh truths and tough love, it's life changing when you finally get the honest truth. So today, Jay is going to read out 21 of his harsh truths, and I'm going to pick one from each section and ask him questions about it. So, Jay, what are your 21 harsh truths?
All right, here we go. Truth number 1. If you have ego, pride, or entitlement, they'll prevent you from learning key truths. So, unless you can let go of those traits, there's no point in watching or listening further. Truth 2. A wise person will admit they didn't know at least one of these truths and change because of it, becoming better. An over-egoistic person will learn little of impact, if anything. Truth 3. The longer or deeper you hide or deny what your heart knows is true, the worse your life gets.
Oh, that one. So the longer that you hide or deny your truth, the worse your life gets. But isn't hiding it better if it's gonna hurt someone else, like getting a divorce or moving to another country away from your whole family?
Well, let me ask you, does divorce exist for a reason?
Yeah.
So divorce has a right to exist. It's fine. It's a thing. Okay. Does moving to another country or moving away from family exist for a reason?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a thing. It exists. Nothing wrong with it. It might not be your favorite thing. You might not prefer to do it, but it's allowed to exist.
Yeah.
Right. So it's an option or a possibility or a consequence of life in reality. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you throw a ball and it bounces off a wall and hits someone, that's something we don't prefer, but it can happen, right?
Yes.
It exists.
Yes.
Or clicking send too early or to the wrong address is not preferred, but it's a thing. It exists.
Yes.
Now, do you fear throwing a ball or fear writing an email because those possibilities exist?
No.
Right. So you're not going to let fear stop you from doing what you want in those cases. You're going to write those emails. You're going to throw that ball. You're going to do whatever. You know what could happen, but you go and do what's in your heart anyways.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So what's the difference with divorce or moving away? It's a possibility. It exists. It might happen. It's not your favorite, but go follow your heart. Do what you got to do. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, but
there's no buts. You're either afraid of consequences and not at peace with reality of what can happen, or you're at peace with what can happen and you fear nothing.
Yeah, but it's still going to hurt that person. So isn't it better to hide it though, so no one else gets hurt?
Sure. And a ball bouncing off a wall can hurt somebody else. So is it better to just never throw the ball in the first place? Should we all live like that? Let's all just not do stuff because it might hurt somebody.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's facts. It's a true fact. If you hide or deny what's in your heart, your life will get worse. If you fear things that exist or things that can happen, and so because of your fear, you just don't follow your heart, you're out.
So then what can happen? What's the worst that can happen? So say I use me as an example. I stayed and didn't get a divorce. I mean, I was a miserable human being. I was unhappy.
Yeah, your mental health drops, your physical health drops, your career health drops, your prospects drop. You start feeling depressed, you start feeling anxious, you start feeling suicidal, you end your life early, you die from a heart attack, whatever.
Okay.
That's a path to despair and ruin.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. No, I
show me anyone who refuses to follow their heart and goes against their heart because they fear what might happen, possibly, maybe. And I'll show you someone who's miserable and on a downward path.
Okay, so I giggled, but not because I think it's a funny thing. I just think it's funny that I didn't see that as the answer. It's so obvious. I was already depressed and unhappy and miserable and hating my life and 100 pounds heavier. And of course, if I continue that way, hiding myself, and of course it was going to continue and get worse. But at the time, I didn't see that, duh.
Yeah, and it applies to small things too. If you want to throw the ball, if it's in your heart, I feel like this is going to be great, then you got to throw the ball and then take the consequences.
I think it's the take the consequences part that people want to avoid. I did.
Sure. Of course you want to avoid it. I don't want to send an email to the wrong address, but it doesn't stop me from emailing. Some people get in a car accident, they never want to cross the street again. But guess what? You can't not. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a way to live. You got to get back on that horse and cross the street again and take the consequences.
Okay, that's good. So, Rise Nation, what do you hide or deny that's in your heart? You can share with me in the comments. I won't judge. Promise.
Truth 4. You control your track record, and other people can, will, and practically must judge you by that. Truth 5. It takes 100 failures for a single success in anything, on average. On average, meet 100 strangers to make one friend. On average, get 100 followers to earn one fan. Truth 6. Every choice you make has roots in either love or fear, whether you realize it or not.
Okay, so I want to ask you about the 100 failures. 100 failures for success in anything, right? It's like a shortened version of what you said. So why do I need any failures? Like, I want to be successful right out the gate. Do I really need to like have 100 failures to be successful?
Well, technically, you can succeed at some things without failures first, because this is more a rule of thumb or a guideline than a truth. But it's the same as saying you can cross the street without looking both ways. You can, but man, this is not a recommended course of action, and it's probably not going to pay off for you, and I almost don't recommend trying. And even if you pull it off in 1 or 2 subjects or areas, the other 99 areas, you're going to have to experience the failures. For example, were you able to walk first try perfectly, flawlessly, or did you need 100 falls?
Well, I don't really remember, but most likely I needed 100 falls. My kids did.
On average, yeah.
Okay.
If when you learned to swim, were you just flawless start to finish, or did you need 100 water in your mouth?
Yeah.
Or water in your nose or whatever?
I needed 100 times to get water in my nose and down my throat and choke on it. Yeah.
Before you got the hang of it.
Yeah.
100 for one. When you learn to ride a bike.
Oh, I fell down a million times.
There you go.
Yeah.
100 for one. If you're going to apply yourself at something unfamiliar, it's going to take 100 before you get one. If you want someone to like your posts or click on it, you might need 100 headlines or 100 memes or 100 photos before you even get one of those engagements, one of those comments or whatever.
Okay, so our last episode was about fear and love. So if I'm moving away from fear, if I'm practicing love, so is that the same thing for those kinds of things?
Yeah.
Like the not tangible things?
Absolutely. You're going to fail at practicing love at least 100 times. You're going to try and do the loving thing and it's not going to work out. Or you're going to know you should do the loving thing, but then miss the opportunity and like, oh, I could have handled that better. Or you're going to whatever, right? You're going to have a failure. That's the practice. If you're unfamiliar with what real, true, sublime, divine love is, you're not going to nail real, true, sublime, divine love first try.
Okay.
You're going to get it wrong.
Okay.
But it's okay.
Right. Well, this is good to know because this is for everything.
Yeah. If you want to get good at makeup, like you're going to need 100 failed makeup somewhere along the way. It's going to happen. And if you show me anyone who's good at makeup, I'll show you someone who's already put in their 100 failures for their first success. And then if you try a new makeup, it's going to be another 100 failures.
Yeah. Okay. Well, even with the podcast, we've worked on the audio maybe 25 times. We've played with the audio and we've played with
some of them were
the setup and some of them were failures. Okay. So that's interesting. So I want to ask Rise Nation, have you ever applied the 100 for one? Maybe not without realizing that's what you were doing. And is there something that you're thinking of that you're working on or you want to work on to practice 100 failures to get really good at this? I want to know. Share in the comments, please. For me, I'm going to share with you guys now. For me, right now, I am working out. I'm working out every day. And some days is way harder than others. And some days I exchange side gigs or long walks in exchange for my actual workout routine. So yeah, this is my 100 for one is what I'm working on. So what about you? Do you have anything you're working on 100 for one that you're practicing?
Like millions of things.
I know, but you want to share with.
I'm practicing copywriting and headline writing. I'm practicing relaxation and meditation. I'm practicing Path of Exile, had a bunch of failures with that.
See, we're always constantly doing these things, even if, like, I never even thought of applying this to the intangible things that I'm working on. Cause, like I said, I'm working on the workout stuff, but I'm also working on my focus and my schedule. And so these are things I never considered applying actual 100 for one.
You're going to have 100 failures on your schedule and 100 failures with your focus.
Yeah.
Good.
Makes sense.
You should. That's on average.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to put in the 100, you'll never get good at the thing. If you're not willing to skin your knee 100 times, you don't get to ride a bike. If you're not willing to get water in your lungs or whatever 100 times, you don't get to become a great swimmer.
Yeah.
You got to put it in the failures.
Definitely. Yeah, makes sense. All right, that's cool. Thanks. You guys see me learning something new, even though I know the 100 for one rule. I applied it always to business and the podcasts and stuff and other projects, but I never considered the other stuff that I'm working on. So thanks.
Yeah. You can apply it to social skills or
anything really,
abstract concepts or whatever you want.
Awesome.
Truth 7. You don't question your own opinions, beliefs, and behaviors enough. You don't. Truth 8. Things happening in your life are neutral. It's your call how you choose to feel about them. Truth 9. Every choice you make has consequences that life will hold you accountable for.
I liked number 9. The things happening to us are neutral, and we choose how we feel about them. So I watched my cousin die, and that didn't feel very neutral. So how can death or divorce or heartbreak be neutral when it feels so painful?
Yeah, I get that. At first glance, it seems like some things are good and some things are bad. But let me read you this story about a farmer who used an old horse to till his fields. The farmer had a fine life tilling his fields with his horse. Then one day, the horse fled to the hills. The farmer's neighbors sympathized with him over his bad luck, but the farmer replied, "Maybe." A week later, the horse returned, bringing a herd with him. This time, the neighbors cheered the farmer on his good luck. "Maybe," he replied. Next, the farmer's son was taming one of the wild horses, but fell off it and broke his leg. Everyone in town said this was a terrible bad luck. The farmer's reaction? Maybe. Weeks later, an army marched up and drafted every able-bodied villager they found. Upon seeing the farmer's son's broken leg, they let him off the hook. Was the broken leg a bad thing or a good thing? I love your cousin and I love you, but isn't it true that her passing made you a better person, a stronger person, gave you a better perspective on life, brought you peace with death and mortality, and helped you get your shit together?
Yeah, it's true. I changed a lot after she died. I'm no longer afraid of death because of it.
Yeah. Is it possible that she knew her time was coming and her soul knew, if I leave now, it's going to have repercussions. It's going to help sin. It's going to help my family. It's going to make people wake up. Isn't it possible that it was a good thing? She's out of pain and misery. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not like, don't lie, right? Don't say what I want you to say. If it's true,
no,
say it.
It's true. I'm a different person because of that. I realized that like I couldn't hold back my dreams anymore. After she passed away, I made the decision to move here because she died with lots of regrets. And one of the last things she said to me was like to live my life that I want to live and not have regrets. So yeah, I'm not saying what you want to hear. It's true. I definitely changed, and I was terrified of death before that. And then watching her die, that it took all that fear away.
Yeah. And so now you have less fear.
Yes.
Just like the farmer with the horse. Broken leg, horse leaves, a herd arrives. Everyone's so quick to label. It's good, it's bad. Oh, this feels terrible. Oh, this feels good. They're so like feeling focused in the moment that they can't see the bigger picture, and they don't realize that they can spin things. They can put their own take on it. They can see it as good or bad. And the farmer just remained neutral because he's like, I don't know if this is good or bad. But you see, everything is naturally neutral. We get, as human beings, the free will to spin it and see it and view it however we want. We get to have a positive attitude about it, or we get to have a negative attitude about it.
Yeah, that's like when I was getting a divorce and everyone I told, they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, "What?" I'm so happy. What are you talking about? And people tried to put their idea of what divorce was on me, and I was over the moon. I mean, no offense to my ex or anything, but I was happy because I was finally doing things I wanted to do, things that felt right for me. So anytime somebody like, "Oh, I'm sorry," I was like, I was a little offended because I was happy. So that makes a lot of sense. Where the first time I got a divorce, I felt that sadness. And when people would say, "Oh, I'm sorry," I'd be like, "It's okay." because I was sad.
But you could have viewed it as a positive thing anyways.
Yes.
This isn't my soulmate. I'm sure this is for the best. I'm going to
Yes.
go and move on to find bigger and better things.
Yes.
And you did do those things. But at the time, you chose to view it negatively, even though it was a blessing.
Okay.
I chose to be homeless for multiple years. And sometimes I was miserable and sometimes I was happy, but I chose it the whole way.
Mhm.
There were other opportunities and other options, but I was like, no, this is not for me. I'd rather be homeless than deal with this. And ultimately, turned out it was for the best. It was a positive thing. Do I want to go back and repeat it? Not really. Do I recommend it to others? Maybe. I think it could help a lot of people. But no, I don't recommend it to others.
Right.
But the point is it's neutral. Homelessness as a thing is neutral. It could be a blessing, it could not be. You could see the silver lining and spin it into something good for you, or you could woe is me it till kingdom come and there you go.
Okay.
Be like the farmer.
So everything that happens to us is neutral.
Yep.
And we put the feeling on it, whether it's a negative or positive. For me, the biggest example, which I never thought of till this conversation, was my divorces. One, super painful, so sad, and the second one, super happy, so excited. I was over the moon. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So
It's kind of like life is one of those tennis ball machines that keeps firing the practice balls at people.
like at the batting cages, yeah.
Yeah, but it has a wide variety of different tennis balls in it. It's got colorful ones, it's got big ones and small ones, it's got ones with little bumps or spikes on it, it's got all kinds of stuff, but it's going to serve them up neutral, like the exact same way every time, just serving them up. And it's like life is seeing how you're going to play the game. How are you going to respond to this? What kind of player are you? Do you get thrown off if it's neon colored? Do you get all panicky or anxious? Or do you stay zen and chill? Like, okay, I see what you're serving up. This is good for me. And spike it back. Backhand it.
Okay.
Lob it, right?
Okay.
Like a master of life, someone who's good at life, is able to stay chill and see the positives and know that everything can work out for the best, even if it seems tough right now. And they can see that this divorce is leading me somewhere better, or this injury is going to help me become stronger when I rehab. Like Bruce Lee broke his back and he got right back on that horse. The doctors all said he wasn't going to walk again, but he saw it a different way.
Yeah.
He said, this is a good thing. This is a chance for me to prove my physical fitness, to prove my martial arts, to prove my healing, to prove my philosophy. I'll show those doctors and I'll inspire everyone else when I do it.
Yeah.
Some people, a broken back, terrible, life's over. Joe Dispenza, I'm going to heal it with my mind and start a new career based off this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got you. That's good. I appreciate this. This is amazing. Okay. So want to share?
Well, I want to know the stuff they're failing at. Like, I want to know the stuff that they should be doing this with. What crappy things happen to you that you should be seeing as a positive, that you should be looking for the silver linings in, that you should be practicing the Zen farmer styles?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
It's a great question. Yeah, me too. I want to know also because also another thing I have is my drug addiction. A lot of people are always like, "Oh, it's terrible," but no, if it wasn't for all that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And my former partner felt really a lot of guilt over that for a lot of years. And recently I told him, actually, I'm grateful and I'm not angry and I have no hard feelings. And it was a huge relief to him, and he understands the same thing. Like, okay, that was a good thing for both of us. And helped us grow and change, because he also now feels so positive about that experience. I mean, neither of us want to repeat it, but and we wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it really changed us and made us who we are. And so this is great. Yeah. So what are you guys failing at that you could really use tweaking that and turning that into a positive. We absolutely have zero judgment. So if you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear. Thank you. And thank you so much. That was quite eye-opening, even though I understood the concept of smaller things to do this with. But as you could see by my reaction, asking the question about my cousin, I did it for everything. So if you're enjoying this amazing harsh truths that you're getting today from Jay, some of you might say these aren't that harsh. Others might be in a fetal position crying because these are some harsh truths. But either way, we're not going to feed you candy-coated lies, especially Jay. So if you're interested in getting more of this amazing goodness for your particular situation, we offer coaching. Just shoot me an email and I'm happy to talk about it with you. Or you can buy the world's first self-help coffee table book, Eyes Wide Open Volume 1, and you can have all this juicy goodness and more on your coffee table anytime you need. The link is in the description to buy. Okay, now it's your turn.
Truth 10. You can only believe in others as much as you believe in yourself. You can only help others as much as you can help yourself. You can only love others as much as you love yourself. If you want these things from others, look at how you feel about yourself first. Truth 11. Making excuses, placing blame, or shirking responsibility of any kind is one of the most disempowering things you can do. Truth 12. Every human being is born powerful, so commit to using that power wisely. No excuses.
Okay, that last one. Everybody is powerful. Like, there are starving kids in Africa that don't have any food to eat or drink. Well, I'm pretty sure don't feel very powerful. So how can every human feel powerful if they don't have food or water or money? Like, can you please explain this?
Do you know how many real life stories there are of people from terrible conditions tapping into their power and triumphing?
Yes. So
feel the number. How many true life stories do you think there are of rags to riches?
I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of real life examples of people in extremely disadvantaged situations.
Yeah.
People without limbs, people in destitute poverty, people who've been abused and bullied and held down, people from broken homes, addicts, homeless people. There's so many people who have this in their backstory. They came from a place of something terrible and somehow tapped into their own personal power and transformed their lives. And there's a reason for this. It's because every human being is born with untouchable tools to transform their lives. Every human being is born with crazy amounts of power. It's how our whole world functions. It's how our whole economy operates. It's how every family thrives and grows and lives on. It's how all the generations pass on. They triumph no matter what. Human beings have been doing it since we only had a handful of people on the planet.
Yeah.
How did we grow from 1,000 people or 10,000 people or whatever, 1 million people to 8 billion on the planet without human power, personal power?
Okay.
So the things that every human is born with that is untouchable power is our thoughts. Every human has thoughts and everyone can tap into those thoughts,
Yes.
whether a little or a lot. And we have so many of them a day that if you really practice your thoughts, you get a lot of practice in. And in a lifetime, you can use a lot of thoughts to do a lot of things. Someone who lives 60,000 positive thoughts a day absolutely crushes it. Someone who lives 1,000 positive thoughts a day doesn't go very far. This is one of your personal powers. Second, every human being has emotion. You have an emotional guidance system, an emotional compass, an emotional GPS. And that emotional compass is to tell us when our thoughts are being poorly practiced or practiced well. That's all your feelings are for.
Okay.
Something felt bad, you are practicing some shitty thoughts and some shitty thinking.
Right.
Right? In the farmer's story, the farmer's thoughts were neutral. He was chill about it. He wasn't practicing negative thoughts. But the villagers were going buck wild. They weren't.
Yeah.
They were just labeling things left and right. And they feel bad about this and they feel bad about that. The farmer's like, dude, chill. Control your thoughts, people. This is not how to think about things.
Right.
But your feelings, when they feel bad, it's telling the villagers, you guys are not thinking about this properly. The farmer is, though. The farmer's emotional compass is like, he feels okay because he thought about the situation correctly.
So all of our feelings is doing this,
Yep.
Not just like the negative ones. It's all of them are
All of them.
telling us like
Are you on the right track with your thoughts?
Okay.
You can try it at home. Think something shitty, watch how you're feeling, compass goes, then think something positive and loving, and watch how your feeling compass goes.
Yeah.
That compass responds every time. It's a rock solid, super powerful tool to get you blazing a path towards a positive life, towards an amazing life. It's guiding you to see situations correctly and healthily and properly and maturely and powerfully.
Well, I was just going to say, like, before we started filming, there was a bunch of noise outside our door. I was getting annoyed. And you were like, this is a great thing. And this is good. And you were super positive about it. And then the more annoyed I got, the louder that it got. And when you were like in the middle of your positivity rants, and I stopped, I shut down the thinking, and I started repeating everything you were saying. I just repeated it in my head, and then it stopped. Swear to God, it's just stopped. When I realized it, we were already filming. I think we were on the first question when I realized it, and I was like, oh, okay. So I just wanted to point that out while we're talking about feelings and thoughts. Like I changed my thoughts, it changed my feelings, and it all went away. So that was really interesting. So thank you. Please continue with the third.
Yeah, my pleasure. And it's a great example. And we should clarify for the audience that you had a lot of practice thinking positive thoughts. Yes. If they try to do this, there might be 100 failures first, right? You've had your 100 failures. You've had your 100 failures. But it does work. And your thoughts are an untouchable superpower. And your feelings, your emotions are an untouchable superpower. They're yours. They're yours to control, to influence, to guide, to navigate. And the third superpower every human is born with is our choices, our free will. Everyone has a choice of fear or love, follow my dreams or put them on hold, go for what I want or cater to my obligations and responsibilities and family expectations. Everyone has these choices every single day. Do I answer that phone or do I sleep in? Is sleeping in helping my dreams? Is it what I really want to do? Or is sleeping in an excuse? And there are thousands of these going on every day. 60,000 thoughts, 60,000 emotions, 60,000 little tiny choices about what you do with your time every day, every minute, every second. And most people don't tap into this power. But it's all there. It's all available. It's there for everyone. And if you go look at any of your heroes or go look up any of those biographies I was talking about, those impressive people who've gone from rags to riches, you will see they managed their thoughts, their emotions, and their choices, and they did it very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely. There's a Malawian kid named William Kamkwamba, and he built an electricity producing windmill for his family, for his village, out of garbage.
That's so cool.
Yeah. We have more garbage in our country than they'll ever have.
Right.
We throw away more and have more spare parts. And he was like, that kid, William, didn't sit around all day. Woe is me. I have nothing. I'm in the worst country and the most poverty, and I have so many disadvantages and I can't do anything. He was like, no, I have hands. I have a brain. I'll get a book on engineering and figure this out. I don't know. I'll do something.
That's so badass.
Yeah. And then he could turn it into a moneymaker for himself. He can just use it so he doesn't have to pay electricity bills for him and his family. He could sell it and share it with the village. He could do anything, right? But this is resourceful. Be resourceful. These people you're talking about, there are so many people in worse situations who are actively being more resourceful. They're using their thoughts and their emotions and their personal choices of what they do with their time every day to crush it, to do something awesome. If they're too busy or they have to go to school and then come home and take care of the family, then they squeeze it in at night, or they find time, or they do it on the bus ride or something. They are tapping into their personal power. There's another story of 4 Nigerian girls who created a generator that runs on piss, urine.
What?
They're like, oh, we don't have power. We can't afford anything. Well, what if we could turn our pee into
That's awesome.
power?
Good for them.
Yeah. There's people without limbs. We're like, you know what? This sucks, but I bet I could be an inspiring story to others. I can show them what's possible even without limbs.
That girl on the street.
There you go.
We saw this girl on the street the other day. We were walking. She was hauling butt. She left us in the dust. She walked around us, past us, and she had one leg. And I was super impressed. And like, some people might be like, so big deal. But to me, that, like, I have this vision of what somebody with a prosthetic leg can do, and I'm probably wrong, and that's okay. But it like opened my mind to like what other people could do. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that was cool.
It doesn't matter what you are. You were poor, doesn't matter. You can still win. You were busy and overwhelmed. So many people were too. You can do it. You can win. You have some kind of physical disadvantage, you can turn it into an advantage. It's all how you use your thoughts, your emotions, and your choices. Everyone is powerful. I'm not going to hear otherwise.
Okay.
And if you bring me any whiny little excuse maker, I'm not powerful, I can't do anything, my situation's terrible, I'm crippled, the world's ending, I will show you they're wrong. I will prove them that they're powerful.
Okay. Well, you've convinced me. I can't. I asked this question thinking like these poor kids in this continent over there in Africa. How could they be powerful with no money, no food, no water? And you just gave me 2 stories, and then as you were talking, I thought of a whole bunch more too that I've read about and heard about.
There's millions.
Yeah. So
billions. Throughout history.
Awesome. And you guys, that's a tough love I was talking about. But that kind of thing, that tough love, that truth, those harsh truths, no one else is telling them. No one else is telling me.
Well, I don't know. Don't they got fathers? Like, a good dad will slap you straight on that shit. Like, shut the hell up. Like, get your shit together. You're my son. You got arms and legs and whatever. Go do your thing. And like, I know, single mom or whatever, but like an authoritative teacher at school, a principal,
no,
somebody,
they're not allowed to talk to you like that.
All right, well, whatever. Then you get what you deserve. Then if everyone in the world is soft as hell, then you're gonna raise soft people who are soft and like crumble at the face of any adversity.
Yeah, but that's why we've been told that we're reparenting the world. So
this is why Andrew Tate has a huge audience, because he does offer that tough love, and people are desperate for it. They know it's missing, and they're like, we're never going to succeed in life unless someone gives us the straight goods. Now, it's also why a lot of people hate him.
Yes.
And I don't know if he does it in the most flawless way, but overall, in general, tough love and harsh truths is a valuable thing in a society of soft people.
Well, we did the episode on Andrew Tate, and I think I start the episode saying, like, it almost hurts my mouth to say this, but I agree with some of the things he says. Not everything, but some of the things he says, because he does give that honest, tough love that I personally need and like. I've been lied to my entire life by Disney, by my family, by teachers, by all the other media, music, you name it. And I've been lied to. And meeting you was like this breath of fresh air. Yeah, some of it feels like a slap in the face, but
sorry.
No, but I'd rather be slapped in the face by your words and by you. Okay, by your words, than fed more lies and living a shitty, sad, pathetic life that I used to live. And that's not okay. And one of the things that I'm doing, one of the reasons we started this podcast is because I wanted to help you who are in that place that I was in. Like, I'm not 500 million steps past you. Maybe he is. I'm like maybe 25, because I know what it's like to be fed those lies and not be sure, and to hear stuff like this and have your mind blown. And if you hear this stuff and you get triggered, I want you to ask yourself, why are you being triggered by it? Like, why? Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Just ask yourself, why is this harsh truth triggering me? I know the answer you'll get, but if you're honest with yourself, you'll come back to this video and want to know more, and you'll want more harsh truths, because that's exactly what I did. Like, and lots of people, we have pages and pages of people giving testimonials and praise for you for the way that you talk and behave. And they called you the human NZT, the pimp back daddy of coaching, because you give this fresh view. And I'm not trying to sell anything, as it's just honest truth. And that's why we have this podcast, is to help other people who are stuck at step 0. So y'all can get to step 500 million like he's at. And I'm going to be with you on your journey too, because if you watch the first episode and then come back and watch this episode, you'll see the difference in my transformation, my physical, my emotional, my vocal, my every part of my transformation. So thank you so much.
Truth 13. To sell is human. Selling is influence. Selling is power. Selling is sharing. Selling is solving. Selling is getting others to believe what you believe. Kids are selling their parents constantly, and you did when you were younger too. Truth 14. Your energy, attitude, And deep down expectations about things colors your results in whatever you do. Truth 15. How you do the small things is how you do the big things, whether you realize it or not.
Ooh, that one. How you do the small is how you do the big. What if I do everything awesome? Just kidding. Okay, well, that's my real question now. So, what do you mean by big and small? I thought everything just was.
Yeah, you make a good point. It's just a figure of speech to convey the message. Language is a funny thing. Oftentimes you'll say something in one context and someone will bring it up in another context. And to clarify, you're right. What I said before is correct. Things are what they are. Everything is just neutral. But 99% of people perceive some things as big and some things as small. And so this message is for that 99% of people. Basically, it means how you do the mundane, boring task or chore is how you do your progress towards your dreams.
Okay. Can you give me an example?
Sure. If you show me someone who is kind of lazy or they sleep in and they're late for meetings and they have trouble scheduling, they might think to themselves, oh, I only do this for school or I only do this for stuff that's not important. But inevitably, that person is going to miss something important for their dreams. They're going to show up to the park late and they're going to miss a very valuable connection. Like the rich guy who was there left 5 minutes before. They won't know it. They won't know they missed it.
Right.
But their behavior with the mundane tasks or the small things will also affect their bigger dreams. They may even lose a priceless relationship because of it. A spouse who's tired of their lateness or mad that they dropped the ball at a key moment or something, and they start questioning their relationship and they start feeling distant and moving away. And the original person doesn't realize, like, my procrastination and my approach to these small little meetings and timings are actually affecting my bigger dreams. They won't know it. On the flip side, if you take someone who's very detail oriented and conscientious and make sure to get things done, whether it's the dishes or accounting or something for a big client or a spouse, they're going to reap rewards in the small, mundane tasks that they do well. And they're also going to reap rewards in their bigger dreams and bigger goals.
Okay.
If you show me someone who's clumsy at one thing, I'll show you that they're clumsy in other areas of life. Yeah. It does not stay contained to just one thing. How you do the mundane tasks day to day scales up and is how you do the bigger ones, whether you realize it or not.
Okay.
I challenge you to go find someone who defies this, who somehow does the small things in one way, but does the really important things in a perfectly flawless way or whatever.
So I'm thinking, like, when you were saying that, I was thinking of myself and like the way I do certain things in the house, how it also reflects in what I do in the business. So I'm not always the most organized person, even though I'm super good at organization and helping others. For myself, this is why on I mentioned earlier in the podcast, one of the things I'm working on for the 100 for 1 is my schedule. And as you know, I have gotten really good about writing things down and putting it in the schedule. However, I'm not so good at checking my schedule to complete those tasks on time.
You're getting better.
I am getting better. But I've dropped the ball in the same way with the business. I was supposed to reply to an email, or I was supposed to reschedule a podcast that I was going to go on as a guest. So it got done, but not when I would have liked, not my preference. And I don't like last minute things. And I don't, but because I do last minute things with the schedule and I don't pay attention, that I can see how that bleeds over into my business. And now I understand a little bit more why. I mean, I knew that it was important to get a hold of my schedule and really work on that. But now I see a little deeper why this matters. And it's going to matter for the business. It's going to matter for our relationship. It's going to matter for our home. So yeah, okay. This is really good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it goes back to that life as a tennis practice machine.
Right.
It's serving you up opportunities all day long to prove the kind of person you are. So it serves you a softball at first. It serves you a little one. Here's the dishes. Your task is the dishes. What kind of person are you? How are you going to do the dishes? I'm going to do the dishes like fire. Fast, efficient, clean, high quality, the whole package. I did it all. It's everything. Best of both worlds. They say you can't have fast and affordable and high quality. Wrong. That's what you got from me on the dishes. That's the kind of person I am. And so life's like, okay, I see you. Then it serves you up a phone call. I was concise and clear, and I made my points, and I was positive, and I was success focused, and I provided value to that person, and I received value in return. Nailed that phone call. Pretty proud of it. Even if it was a unpleasant call, I knew to trust my feelings and diplomatically ended it early. Nailed it. Life's like, okay, dishes, he's top quality on the dishes, does great on the phone call. I see you. When I'm serving up your dreams, this guy's he's gonna be a fantastic player. He's gonna navigate life well. He's gonna handle what I serve him and lob it back or spike it down or whatever. This guy is a conscientious, detail-oriented person. I can see that how he does the small is how he does the big. And I get the results. Then you can take, some lazy slob of a neighbor down the street or whatever. No offense, anybody, but for example, and life says to him, how do you do the dishes? If I just smoke weed all day and I let them pile up until there's mold and bugs crawling everywhere. And that's why I don't like when we leave dishes out. And I'm on it because I have an agreement and I have a life and I don't want the consequences to be negative. So I'm going to be on top of it.
Right. Because I was okay leaving the dishes till after we filmed the podcast. But you, had you known they were there, probably would have gone and done them because whenever you get a task, you're on it right away. Whereas when I get a task, I fit it into where in my schedule where it should go. And since I'm not great about my schedule yet, I'm getting better. Those things tend to slip down the pool.
And it all adds up. Yeah. And life sees what kind of player you are. Like I said with that other guy. Smoke weed all day and let the dishes pile up and let the bugs come and the mold grow or whatever. And then life's like, okay, well, now I'm going to give you a phone call. So he hops on the phone call and he's like, hey, man, hey, what you doing? And life's like, okay, this guy's not on it. He's not about it. He's not about his biz. He's not on fire. This man is not focused. He's not driven. Doesn't have a point. He's not looking to provide value on the phone call. He's not going to receive any value from the phone call. He just wastes his day away doom scrolling and jacking off and whatever. And that's what you're going to get. And life's like, okay, well, this is how your dreams are going to go too. You're going to move super slow towards your dreams, the same way you move super slow towards phone calls and dishes. How you do the small, mundane tasks is how you're proceeding on your dreams. People don't realize it, but it's true and it's happening. And life is sort of vibing you out, trying to see what you're about every day with all these little choices that are served up to you. I can tell you what kind of person I am.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're on top of those things right away. Okay, so Rise Nation, what are you working on that you may not really be on top of it, that you're procrastinating, that has affected other parts of your life? And if you don't know, I want you to think about it. Think about something that you don't like to do. Maybe you like to Netflix and chill. Maybe you don't want to do the dishes. Maybe you hate putting away your laundry. So I want you to ask yourself, what other areas in your life that you're doing the same thing with that you didn't realize? And please share it in the comments because you're not the only one. I feel you. No judgment.
Me too. We've all been there.
Yeah, of course.
Truth 16. Someone who helps many others will feel valuable. Someone who sits around or spins their wheels unfulfilled won't. Money flows to you based on how valuable you perceive yourself to be overall. Truth 17. Your time management probably needs improvement. You, a child in Rwanda, and Elon Musk all have the same 24 hours in each day. The question is, how wisely is each person using it? Truth 18. Most people suck at communication, and they need to A, read entire books about it, and B, practice what they read.
Man, those are all good. Those are all good. So I'm gonna go with the time management because I may have a couple things I need to ask about time management. So sometimes when I have a lot of things to do in a day, I will remind myself that Beyonce has the same 24 hours in a day that I have, right? But she has a nanny and a cook and an assistant to do all these other little things that I don't have that for. It's just me, right? So I'm busier than Beyonce because she has all these people to help her. She's paid people to help her to get rid of all that stuff. So because she's hired all those people, she has more time than me, right?
Oh, it feels great to think that way, right? It lets you off the hook.
Yeah, it does.
It's convenient. It's comfortable. And like most candy-coated lies and excuses, you're half right. You're right just enough to convince most people. But you know deep down that's not true. And I'll tell you why. Because sure, she has all that stuff now.
Mhm.
But just like you, she was a child once. And if you go back and watch her early years, you'll see when she would go to school, come home, do homework, cram in some food, go rehearse, practice dance, practice singing, go to bed late, wake up early to go practice and rehearse a little before school, and then go to school, and then practice at lunch with her dance troupe or whatever, and then go home and do it all again. And when she was 13, she was busier than you've ever been in your entire life.
Okay, fair enough.
And because she put in the work and applied herself, she used her thoughts and her emotions and her choices of what to do each day in a powerful way to make her dreams reality. She didn't sit and whine. She didn't make excuses. Oh, other people are better off than me. They're older and bigger and stronger and richer, and they've hired people. She wasn't like that as a kid. She was just like, whatever. I'll do what I got to do. I'll stay up how I got to stay up. I'll eat what I got to eat. I'll meet who I got to meet. Whatever. I'm going to become great at this. I'm passionate about my dream, and nothing's going to stop me from getting it. And I'll hustle until I can afford to hire a dance coach. I'll hustle until I can afford to hire someone to make my meals. And she did. And so did the Malawian kid I talked about earlier. These people have the worst conditions and worst situations. You don't think he was busy dealing with the village and whatever?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have a lot more going, helping you out, making your life go fast and speedy than he does.
Yeah.
But he didn't sit there. People in Canada and the US have it better than I do. They can afford all of that stuff.
Fair play.
He just built a freaking electricity windmill.
Fair play.
I'm saying, man.
Okay. All right.
People are going to say the same thing. Elon Musk was born into a rich family. Whatever. You're missing the whole point. They got about their business. They focused on their dreams, and they did it with positive thoughts and a happy heart and making the best choices possible for them. And there's thousands of those happening a day. And if you do that too, after thousands of choices every single day, you're going to be way further ahead, and you won't be saying this shit.
All right. You're right. You got me. I can't even say anything else after that. Like, you just mic dropped, because I admit you're right, and I admit, like, sometimes I say it as an excuse. But yeah, okay, that's it. I don't have anything to say.
I respect it. I wish more people would do that. That's mature. That's awesome. Someone who can just admit it. Like, yeah, you called me out. Your truths were right, harsh but true. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
I'm on it. If we had that happening, you know how good humanity would be? I could just go call out anybody and be like, look, man, this is real talk. This is the shit. And they could just be like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to fix that by tomorrow. I'm on it. I'm going to practice. No argument, no resistance, no fighting, no excuses, no whine. Just thank you for the harsh truth, man. No one's put it out that clearly for me before. Yeah. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to troll you in the comments and make a big deal. I'm just going to go get to work. Yeah. We'd have an amazing society. We have an amazing civilization. All these people who are struggling would be on their way. They'd be crushing it with that level of personal responsibility.
Thanks. Well, yeah. So I've had a lot of practice with that in the last 4 years, taking personal responsibility for everything that I've done wrong.
Yeah, and you had hundreds of failures with personal responsibility too, where you didn't take them and try to make excuses and fought.
Oh yeah, we had lots of arguments about not this particular thing, but similar things where I was arguing for my limitations. I was
speaking truth, man.
Yeah, I was arguing against these harsh truths, but in the end, you're right. You're so right. So, Rise Nation, I want to know how that made you feel. Like, please share with me. Did you feel like I did? And just like, man, there's nothing else I can say to that. You're spot on, Jay. Or, do you have some limitations you want to argue? Like, you can argue them in the comments, but I'm going to send him your comment, and he's just going to do the same thing to you in the comment section, because I'm not going to touch that. I would love to hear what you think.
Truth 19. You can either stand out boldly and bravely, or blend in timidly and anonymously, and you will reap rewards that match. Truth 20. The universe isn't here to gift wrap your lessons. There are people out there who are better than you at stuff. You may not like them. Too bad. Have the guts to recognize them, swallow your pride, and learn from them if you want to improve your life. Truth 21. You're meant to achieve all your dreams. You've been given all the tools necessary to do so. Thing is, many prefer to whine, deny, and hesitate rather than apply themselves lovingly to it.
Those last three were amazing, and I really love them. And for those of you who want the full list of the 21, I will be putting it in the description. But I can't stop thinking about number 10 that we didn't talk about. So I want to go back to that one, if that's okay. All right. So I'm going to read the full one, so they remember what it was. You can only believe in others as much as you believe in yourself. You can only help others as much as you can help yourself. You can only love others as much as you love yourself. If you want these things from others, look at how you feel about yourself first. So I'm going to use some feeling language here. Okay. I used to feel like I loved and believed in people more than I did myself, because now I understand this concept more, but I want to go a little deeper on it. So if I feel like this, like I love and believe in people more than myself, how is this possible if it goes against this harsh truth? Can you please explain that to me?
Sure. Is it possible that you're confusing love and belief with effort, sacrifice, and obligation? Because I can see how you would sacrifice more for others and effort more for others and keep obligation more for others than you do for yourself in any area.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a reason we have different words for this stuff. Love and belief are totally different than effort, sacrifice, and obligation.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but if you love somebody,
but what you're feeling is you sacrifice and oblige yourself and effort more towards other people than yourself, which I would agree with. Sure, that's fair. But that's not what this truth is. The harsh truth wasn't you can only sacrifice as much as you can sacrifice for yourself. You can only obligate.
Yes.
The truth was you can only believe as much as you believe in yourself. You can only love as much as you love in yourself. You can only help as much as you help yourself. Help is not sacrifice, effort, and obligation.
Okay.
If you help someone and you're sacrificing and obliging yourself to them, that help's unsustainable, unhealthy, and it's going to run out because you can only sacrifice so much. I sacrificed a whole bunch of money and time and energy and effort for you for a bunch of different businesses. But eventually I have to stop because I'm going to die. I have nothing left to give. No time, no money, no energy because I'm sacrificing it. Is that love?
That's sacrifice.
Yeah. Is it healthy? Should I be giving that way? Is that a healthy way of giving?
No.
So most people have been messed up. They're not even taught what love is or what belief is. They just throw the word around. Parents are like, oh, you got to believe in yourself. You got to love yourself. Meanwhile, they're not loving parents. They're not super loving, like the top tier, God tier love. Like if you're going to learn love, you should be learning it from who? Like Buddha or Jesus, the masters, right? Learn from some awesome person who's great at love, who made the loving choices all the time. If you learn love from some like bitter, cynical, jaded parent who just throws the word love around, you're screwed. And then you're like, I'm loving. I love others just like my parents did. I learned from them. I sacrifice, I oblige myself, and I put in effort for others. And I know I love them more than I love myself because I do tons of that stuff for them. It's like, there's not an ounce of love in any of this. Like, I don't know who taught you what, but you are so far from love, it's ridiculous. And that's not believing in others either. If you believed in them, you wouldn't see them as like some weak little sick bird who you have to sacrifice for. They're going to fail tomorrow. Most of the time, when someone's sacrificing for someone else, they don't believe in that person. They're like, oh, well, I guess I have to just crush my whole life and sacrifice my money and my time and my dreams because this person is going to fall over tomorrow. Oh, good belief. That's solid stuff. If you really believed in them, you'd be like, no, I'm going to hang on to my stuff. They got this. It's all good. I'll part with a little, like what I can. But I'm not going to start bringing us both down. You can't give enough money to make a poor person rich. You can't give enough health to make a sick person well. If you give your health away, it doesn't help them, does it? No. And if you keep funneling money towards someone, does it make them stand on their own? Does it teach them money management? Does it teach them the laws of life and how the economy works? Does it teach them how to respect money? Or do they just learn to leech off you and skate and coast? Yeah, when you just give stuff to people, it's not believing in them. If you believe in your child, do you do all the chores for them and do every puzzle for them and do every lesson for them and do every homework for them? Or do you say, hey, I believe in you. I know it's challenging, but you got this. And I'll help a tiny bit if I can, if I have time.
My ex and I have gotten into arguments because I won't do schoolwork for my son, because to me, that's not a loving thing to do.
There you go.
Teaching him, I'm happy to get on a voice chat or video chat and help him figure out how to do it.
Sure. But did you chauffeur him around everywhere?
Yes.
Did it teach him to navigate the subway system and navigate the bus system and ride a bike and locomote on his own? Did it teach him to have healthy walking habits? Did it teach him to learn the neighborhood?
No.
Did it teach him anything? And did you believe in his ability to take care of himself, his ability to be his own man and stand on his own 2 feet and start? No. Right. You sacrificed your time and energy to chauffeur him around.
Like most parents.
Sure. But is that believing in your child? No. So most people are puffed up on what belief and love is, and they see sacrifice, obligation, protection, effort, struggle as love. And they do all these things for other people, and they're like, I totally love other people. Look at me effort. Look at me sacrifice. Look at me obligate myself. I am the king of love.
I have been told this my entire life by my mother. I sacrifice for you. I give my last for you. Not just me, but our family.
Sure. Does that say she believes in you?
No.
If she believed in you, she wouldn't be doing that. No offense. I'm just saying she was confused. Her mom and your grandmother taught the same thing. It's just a long line of generations of people miscommunicating love. And then people grow up and they throw the word love around and the word believe around, and they don't even know what it means. They haven't ever believed in someone else properly or believed in themselves properly, and they've never had an example of anyone who believes in themselves at all. So how could they possibly know? And so then you sit here and you say, I feel like I believe in others and I feel like I love others. And I'm like, sure, but you're like a 3-year-old saying, I feel like I'm an astronaut. Like, you're so far from, you guys are clueless about this stuff. No offense, but how could you know?
None taken. And you guys, none of this stuff that he says to me is hurtful in any way. I need this truth from him. So for anybody who's thinking this is harsh, this is mean, this is what I need, because no one else is telling me this. In fact, my mother told me the complete opposite and taught me that all that stuff was love. Sacrifice was love. All being obligated was love. That the family comes first because that's love. So I have to sacrifice and give up my life. And who gives a shit if I'm happy, as long as everyone else is happy.
Yeah, that's super far from love. Love creates win-wins. Love creates thriving. Love creates alignment and harmony between people where everyone gets what they want. There are always solutions. You can always create a win-win solution, but you have to dig deep and find love to do it. Yeah. And love would support someone else's dreams and encourage them to do whatever is in their heart, even if it's not our choice or our favorite. That's love. Love has nothing to do with sacrifice. So, like I said, and I'm sorry, I don't know.
No.
I'm not trying to make you cry.
No, I'm mad. I'm not even upset. I'm mad. I'm mad because my whole life, even until yesterday, I was being made to feel shitty because I don't sacrifice enough, and I'm a terrible mother because I'm chasing my dreams, even though my kids are grown, and like I should sacrifice for the rest of my life. And my poor daughter has to hear the same shit because she was crying to me recently about the same thing, but my mother was making her feel like shit because she wanted to do things on her own, not without her kid, but things that my mother didn't see as sacrifice.
Well, I encourage you and your daughter to do whatever's in your hearts, whether it benefits me or doesn't, whether it's something I approve of or don't. I want everyone to do what they love.
Never in my life ever has anybody encouraged me to do things that I love, even if it hurt them, even if it went against what they wanted. You've done that a million times. When I said,
very recently,
when I said I wanted to go somewhere else because I'm an idiot, the first time when I went to Florida, and you were like, okay. I was like, I'll be back. And you were like, that's fine. Even though you later told me you didn't want me to go.
I told you while you were leaving and I pointed to all the signs.
Even though you said you didn't want me to go, you were still happy for me to go if that's what I wanted. Never in my life. I lived in Ireland. I lived in Hungary. I lived here in New York, and never once has ever said to me, I don't want you to go, but I'm really happy that you're chasing your dreams. I'm really happy that you're doing what you want to do. It was always, don't go. That's not right. It's not, I'm going to miss you. And it was just guilt and guilt and guilt and making me feel obligated and that I wasn't sacrificing and that I should be sacrificing. Even now, she wants me to sacrifice my happiness here. That's not love.
I know. That's my whole point.
Yeah, but I didn't know until right now that that's not love. She's supposed to love me.
Well, she's doing the best. Like, it's her version of love. She was taught to her, and she didn't have me to help her. So you're lucky to break the chain.
Well, this is for the podcast now. So, like, all this stuff is real, unscripted, and I share with you and let Jay leave it in because maybe you also didn't realize that someone in your life that you love and who's telling you they love you and believe in you, and they don't even understand what these words mean. So you should know too. Like, if that's you and you have a similar situation, like, you can share it in the comments with me or not, or you can email me if you want to be private about it. But I share this stuff with you, which my family would hate, but I don't care because I'm doing what I love and what I feel is best. And it's to help you and me. So I'm sorry, please continue.
All good. My point is, have you ever heard the phrase, you have to fill your cup first before you can serve others?
Yes.
So this isn't just fluff. This is actually how life works. So everyone has, like, inside them, like, a belief meter and a love meter. Mm-hmm. Just imagine, for example. And so if the belief meter and the love meter inside you are really low,
right,
they're your self meters, the meters inside yourself. If they're really low, they're not filled up and you're not serving others.
Right.
And so then when you go to serve others, you do it out of obligation or sacrifice or effort or struggle or giving with agenda and hidden resentment and whatever. And you're not actually helping them. You think you're helping them. It looks like you're helping. You're like, I washed the dishes. I mowed the lawn for them. It helped them.
Hey.
No, it didn't. Not if your love meter was down here and your belief meter was down here, it didn't. Because maybe by you helping them, you're preventing them from meeting their God tier lawnmower or their spouse who's going to be the lawnmower.
Right.
You don't know, but you're like, oh, I helped them. It's like, no, if your heart wasn't full, you should have just stayed home and, like, did some self-care or whatever, worked on your mental or something.
Right. It's true. Yeah.
And so only when you're full of self-love and full of self-belief are you able to overflow that stuff to others. And it can't be what you think is love and what you think is belief. It's something that comes from the heart, from the soul, from the body. It's like a deep knowing that I am feeling loving right now. It has nothing to do with logic or reason. It has nothing to do with thinking. It's, I know in my soul that I'm full of love and I'm happy to overflow it to others. When you give like that, I'm happy to mow the lawn. I don't care if this person ever talks to me again. There's no agenda. I love mowing lawns. I love seeing them get pretty and beautiful. This is a different kind of giving. This is an overflowing of love.
This is why I'm okay with you sharing this stuff with the world, because I get that from you and I'm full of that kind of love. So I want to share it with other people as well.
I love it. This is the only way to spread love.
Right.
The point is, you can only flow as much love to others as your meter is for yourself. You can only flow as much belief in others as your meter is in yourself. If you don't believe you can make money, you can't help other people make much money.
Yeah,
if you don't believe you're valuable, you can't help other people feel valuable. If you don't believe you're creating an awesome brand and a helpful product, you can't help others create an awesome brand and a helpful product. Mm-hmm. I was able to help Evan so much because I believe deep down in my core, I'm great at all this stuff. And he could feel it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel it for everybody I talk to. I can help them. I can help them. I can help them. I can help all of them. I'm super valuable. I have crazy value to flow. I have so many skills and talents. I'm so blessed. I'm so abundant. I'm so prosperous. I feel so good. I'm so lucky, so happy to be alive. I've lived through hell on earth. I live to tell a tale, and I have so much to offer the world, and I'm happy to give it away. Pure love. My love meter is high enough that I can flow to others, and I can be loving to others and be valuable to others. My self-belief is high enough that I can believe in others. And I do believe in others. And I believe in every viewer.
You do. No one has ever believed in me. It's not just me. I've never seen a level of belief in humans and people and annoying people. Like the level of belief and love that you give It's very impressive. And I feel super blessed. And this is one of the reasons I started the podcast, was because I wanted to help flow that love and that belief to everyone else, because you guys may be like me before meeting you, not having anyone that really loved you or really believed in you in the same way to help you with your belief and love in yourself. So I wanted to bring that to the world.
Thanks. And I'm not perfect at it. I'm still working on it, but I know I have pretty damn high levels of self-love and belief. So
Me too. And it feels really nice. So do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
yeah, every single one of you has a conscience, a heart, a soul, some kind of inner voice, something. You've had it since you were little, and it's a truth detector. It can tell when it hears the truth, but it's usually drowned out by our ego and our neuroses and our issues and our scars and our trauma and our overthinking and our whatever. And it takes practice to tune in to that truth detector, but it's super worth it. And if you clicked on this video and stayed till the end, I can tell that you care about truth and you know you need some in your life. Everyone does. You can't live in a world of lies. It doesn't help anybody, but the truth will set you free. But first, it's going to bitch slap you. Sometimes it sucks, but that's the thing about medicine in a society with an invisible disease. It might not taste great, but once you're cured, it feels amazing. And then you get the fun job of spreading the truth to others. So I'm super thankful you're here and that you stayed to listen to the end. And I hope we can all go spread the truth to people and help them rise up together. Thank you.
And that's why our book and this podcast are called Eyes Wide Open.
Keep rising.